discussion with possible action regarding COVID-19 policies.
Good morning.
Hi, Julie.
Good morning, Julie.
How are you guys today?
Good.
Good.
What do you want to know? I can tell you that we have given residents that live in Winnebago County, 6,880 have received their vaccine from us or somewhere.
A total dose or just one shot?
Total doses in our county are 3,240.
Okay. So that's a full shot treatment then?
That's 3,240, yes.
Okay, all right.
Our agency and our partners, we've given 4,610, and just our agency alone has given 2,120.
All right. Where are we at with the Johnson & Johnson now that's been brought back online?
I have 10 doses left, and I have 5 that would like it, and we'll be giving them in the next 10 days.
Okay. Do we know if there's going to be more of those available?
That I do not know.
I think one of the things that people are hesitant to have to go through the two-shot process, you know?
Yep. That's the people that are on my list, that they were very adamant. They were waiting for the Johnson & Johnson to come back. So, this coming week, we have declined all of our doses, our allocation, because I still have 100 sitting in my refrigerator, and I only have a handful of people on my list.
Okay.
The state has gone away with there's no burn rate, so we won't be penalized for that. But the state also did decline some vaccine from their federal partners. They did not take as many because the demand is not as high.
Right.
Yeah. But with that said, in the last 7 days, we have had 20 positive cases in our county.
Okay. What have we been averaging?
For cases, it had been really low and very, just like a 1 here or there. But the last 7 days, like I said, has been 20. So our average rate for 14 days was been like 7.9%. And the last 7 days have been 11. So we're sneaking up, but not.
What kind of demographic? Is it younger or older? Or?
That I knew you were going to ask me that, and I didn't look, but I can look.
It'd be nice to know, because they're talking about maybe opening up vaccines for the 12 to 16-year-olds or whatever, 15.
Yeah, but I think that's Pfizer.
Okay.
I believe that's Pfizer, and I'm not sure how far Moderna is behind that. So
okay.
We just are having our weekly meetings that they were on Friday. Now we're moving them all, and they're combining them again back to Tuesday. So we'll know more at noon today.
All right.
I know that at our meeting last week, you know how they all come in a 10 vial.
Yeah.
Johnson & Johnson is a 5 vial. Pfizer's working on getting smaller doses in a vial, which will help us out, because we have 10 in a vial, and Moderna went to 15. So I'm not sure what that thought was, but they did say last week they would not penalize us either if we had to waste a dose, but we have not. In all of the shots we have given, we have only wasted 2 doses, and that happened to actually be just a Johnson & Johnson dose. So I think out of the 2,000, we've done pretty good for only wasting 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
Well, we appreciate all you guys have been doing. I know you've been working hard at it.
Yeah, we have a lot of booth clinics coming up in the next 2 weeks for everyone to get their second shots. And really, out of that, and just in the last month that we've done some booths, we've only probably had maybe 1 or 2 people, I'm thinking off the top of my head, that declined their dose, but they're still thinking about it, getting their second shot. So we have them on a list, and we told them if they wanted to, get back in touch with us. So really, I think the people who want it are getting it.
So what kind of a timeline can they still decide and still consider it a valid boost? Is it another month?
I know you can't give it. You can give it 4 days prior to 28 days from Moderna, and I'm not sure the answer. I'm thinking they said. I'm not 100% sure, so I'm not going to say. I don't know that answer.
I know there's a little cushion, but I don't think it's a lot.
Yeah, I think there's a little cushion, but I'm not sure if it's 1 month or 3 months. I've heard so many numbers that, trying to remember everything is. Allison would know that more off the hand, and she's giving shots right now, so she's not here.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody have any questions for Julie?
No questions from me.
No.
Well, if you know anybody that still want it, just, have them call the office, and as soon as I get 10 people, we usually schedule that prime, right away within a couple days. And
Do our vendors still have a few too?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, then we can service them promptly if they get a group.
Yep. I do believe I did see Miller made a post that to call them if they'd like the shot. The lists are low or something like that. So.
Okay. All right.
All right.
All
right. Have a good day.
All right,
Thank you.
Thanks, Julie.
I'd like to table this discussion on COVID for later in the meeting. We've got time things now, so I'll come back to it later. So it's 9:10. We've got David Heimendinger and Robert Hansen, landowners, to discuss DD5 Lat 43.
Actually, Robert Hansen just tried to call me on my phone.
Oh, yeah, I got the wrong number. I got you here, though.
Okay,
Oh,
you're
okay.
on? Okay, that's great.
Yeah,
Otherwise-
I had both numbers, so, and I realized, oh, crap, so
Okay, no, that's fine. Otherwise, we could have used my phone if you couldn't have gotten on.
No, yeah.
All right, so tell us what your plight is with this situation.
Well, I guess I talked with Susan earlier, and I've got a kind of a different question, and that relates to the intersection of Highway 9 and 190th Avenue. That's 2 miles east of Forest City, where there was a drainage ditch, and that impacted David Heimendinger too. He had to pay $4,000 for that ditch. And my question was, I'd like to get a copy of the 404 permit.
We don't have a permit. We don't need permits.
For the what permit?
Oh, to drain that little wetland at the intersection of 190th,
Oh, would that
where
be,
it comes
That was a
into
field.
Highway 9.
It wasn't a wetland, it was just a field that was forever wet,
Well-
and that's been handled. That project is
and
complete.
that was done with private permitting with the DOT there. You're
Yeah.
talking about the ditch that was right at the right of way, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
And so but I'm talking about that, there were always ducks there, and so it was a permanent wetland, and that's why I'm just, so you're saying that there was no 404 then on that?
we did not need a permit, no.
And that
Is there any
wasn't-
Well,
documentation?
and
wasn't our project.
The reason that we didn't need a permit was because the landowner dug that ditch privately. We didn't have anything to do with that.
Okay, so okay, I just wanted to find
So
out.
if he
Okay,
needed a
let's go on.
permit, I don't know, but he dug it himself. And then we had the
I
issues
understand.
that we did.
And the money you were talking
Okay.
about sounds like a different project.
No, that was for that.
No, that was that,
David,
because what happened was the tile had been broken at some point, and it, for whatever reason, didn't get fixed. The landowner decided to just dig a ditch to help out with the water, and the district agreed that if he put back the tile as is, it would have cost the district about $45,000 to repair that. So the district paid $45,000 of that repair. So that's why Mr. Heimendinger paid for part of that project. He would have had to pay for a repair anyway.
But we need to limit our
Yeah.
discussion to DD 5, lat 43, because we have limited time. So if you can explain what you want on that.
Did
Well,
you receive, go ahead, David.
Oh, go ahead, Bob.
No, I was just wondering if they received our letter.
Yes,
Yes.
we did.
Okay.
Yeah, so, Robert and I, we're totally against it. We're the only, owners of that ditch. We own it 50/50. And, I don't know if, being the owners can sort of override that, or, if we have to make our case. I guess our case would be, if we get any more water in that ditch, I mean, I've seen it where the ditch goes out of its banks and we get a big pond. Well, putting more water into that ditch will end up having more frequent flood events on our property. So it's just too low. All the high ground above us coming into it just would overwhelm our ditch. So, but as the only two owners of that ditch, we're totally against it. So, I guess that's my contention.
Okay, so just to clarify, you may own the ditch right now, but the ditch is between our district and the uplands that rely on our district. So there are other owners
There's a county
involved.
tile that goes. Oh, pardon me.
There are other
Oh.
owners involved that are affected.
Well, they can hook on the county tile, which goes to the ditch. That way it wouldn't impact our private ditch, which only handles Robert and I's water.
Well, and nothing is going to change either. It's just other people's surface water will drain into it, and then they will all help in the future pay for any repairs or any cleanouts.
Well, we don't want their water in our ditch, though. I mean,
But
that's
you're
what
already
the
getting
county
it.
tile is for.
You're already getting their
Well,
water.
What?
It's not like they're all of a sudden tiling into it. It's already there.
It's in the watershed.
It's in the watershed. It's always been there.
When was the ditch dug? Many years ago?
In the 50s.
In the 50s. Yeah.
Okay.
So David, your concern is that the ditch won't be able to handle the water that you think is in addition?
Our concern is that by you annexing it, you're going to allow other people to tile into our tile. Is that right, David? Do I have that right? David?
And if you, okay, so this is Chris again. If they do tile into it, they would have to ask your permission anyway, because they can't just go through somebody's land without that permission.
But if you annex it, doesn't that mean
It's
that
still
you're
your
giving them
land.
permission?
No, it's still your land though. Is that correct, Susan? Like when you're tiling, if you're gonna go through somebody else's field, you have to get their permission to do that, to get
What if
to
it's
it.
a district tile?
Well, you still have to get somebody's permission to go to the district tile.
But could that person petition us
We've
and
gone
go
through
through
that
it?
process before.
Yeah,
That I don't know. I guess I always thought you had to have the landowner's permission to
We
go
did it
through
with
their.
Nelson's.
we did it with Nelson's, yeah. So could come in front of us and ask for a petition to be able to go through that, basically without the landowners.
Okay.
That is our concern.
Yep, I get it.
Okay,
I
my
get it,
apologies,
Mary
I did not know that.
Yeah, we just,
I didn't I don't remember that.
who was it that, oh,
Yeah.
Storby had requested that.
Yep.
That is exactly what we do not want. After everything we just went through with that other guy and what we had to pay for his mistake, we're very leery of future situations.
I agree with that, but in telling before, there still would have been a repair. So you still would have had a bill, no matter if he dug
Yeah,
that
I
ditch or
know.
not.
I understand that, but but we have absolutely no land that has anything to do with that. I don't care what anybody says. We don't have any water that drains into there. We don't have any. And it was all zoned back in the God knows when 1930s, but we really should have not have. If it was zoned correctly, we shouldn't have had to pay for that. I know it's a completely separate issue, but we just don't want this annexation thing of our private drainage to happen. And, I mean, it already happened, obviously. But Robert, are you agreeing with me here?
Oh, 100%. I have
Okay.
some questions on top of that. Who filed the petition to annex our ditch?
Mark Eggestal.
Mark.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. We've had issues with him in the past.
Was it just Mark that requested the annexation?
Yes. Because
Okay.
he is under the impression, and I guess I have no reason not to believe it, that he is a third owner of that ditch. That there were three.
That is
He is not.
absolutely false.
No, he is not.
Yeah. That is.
I'm sorry, that is incorrect.
Yes.
So
He has no authority.
So
Plus Iowa law requires that two people petition, not one. I know that, so. So the whole issue is, that's on top of it.
Have we ever done two people?
Who paid for that associates survey, by the way?
I don't know what you're saying, sir.
There was a Jacobson Westergarden Associates survey.
Right. The district.
Who paid for that?
The district will pay for that.
What district? When you say the district?
The district that was just created, the 5-lat.
Oh, so you're saying that Heimendiggers and Hanson paid for this survey?
Nope. All
That
the
we-
people that were
okay.
sent a letter are in that district now.
Well, that would include Heimendinger and Hanson.
That
would it
includes
not?
us.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And so.
But it's not
that's my
just you.
point. And so no, I understand that. But so first of all, it wasn't in accordance with law. Second of all, it said that Heimendinger and Hanson asked for this in your whereases, and that's false. So this whole thing is predicated on false. I mean, not in accordance with Iowa law, and the thing itself is incorrect. I mean, there's nothing legitimate about this thing so far that I'm aware of.
So what our actions we're planning, what we have on our agenda today to rescind the motion we had made previously. And
That would be
kind of
great.
start over with the process and thoroughly look through this.
Yes,
And
because
maybe
you have
get the
been
landowners-
misled by Mark Eggestal.
Yes, he has not been truthful in the past. Apparently, not truthful currently.
Yes, we would be as much in favor of rescinding and starting from scratch and getting permission from the actual landowners that have this ditch, which, just start from
There
scratch.
are a lot of
We don't
sections.
intend to give permission, at least as far as I don't know if we lost David on the call or if he's on mute, but
So there are a lot of sections
anyway.
of code that relate to this situation, that we have to look at all the sections of code that relate to it. And
Right.
we'll
And I
probably
was-
take our time looking at that.
I just read an Iowa Court of Appeals case that really lays out the process really well, and so far, what I see happening doesn't follow the process at all, or kind of tangentially does. So shortcuts have been taken in this whole process, as well as a number of inaccuracies. Plus, even the lateral ditch, or the lateral culvert, 19, appears, Tom Kingland told me, he was looking at the 1969 county tile map. He said, it's several hundred feet north of what is in that Jacobson-Westergaard survey. I don't know if you've checked that out to verify that lateral 19 yet?
Lat 19 is south of your ditch. When we originally looked at this project, I thought, without knowing exactly where the private ditch was, that Lat 19 ran into it. So I thought we were going to label it Lat 19 ditch. But then closer look, it's not connected at all. So that's where the title came from.
Okay, so Tom, so that you're saying that the Jacobson survey is accurate, and Tom's 90 or 69 tile map is inaccurate then,
Well,
which is fine. I just want to clarify.
Isn't Lat 19 south of that open ditch?
That's right, 43.
Yeah.
I-
Lat 19 is
I
right there.
can't remember, David said there was a problem with the map as well, that the one
Well,
tile
and
was
none
not
of the
where it
maps
was
are
located.
exactly perfect. I mean, that was back in 1969.
So does your.
Right, but I mean, we're talking a long ways difference from where he says it actually runs, and I can't remember what he said right now because it's not my area of
Does he-
expertise, but he was showing me on the map.
Does your,
Yeah, I rely on Tom Kingley. He farms my property, so if he, I go with what he says.
okay, so which direction does the ditch run?
It goes along the fence line. It goes west,
it
south,
goes
west.
West, south?
The
and
gravel road is,
That's the flow?
Well,
So
I mean, it would go east, north, east to get to the ditch, the main.
That's what I'm
ditch.
asking.
Yeah, sorry.
So it connects to the main ditch?
Mhm.
All right.
Mhm.
So they're already paying an outlet fee
They are. They're already in
in the ditch,
DD5.
so they're in the system already.
They are. One thing I wanted to ask about was in talking with Mark Johnson, he said that there were 3 people out there one day. It was Mr. Hansen's father, Lila Rauch, and Mark Johnson himself. Because
or was it Lila or her husband?
Lila,
It was Lila. Okay, I'm just clarifying. I thought, okay.
and it was talked about at that point that Lila wanted to tile into that open ditch. And they needed Mark Johnson out there as the secondary road person because they would need a crossing. And they did that, and the 3 decided that it would be okay that all 3 people were in that district. So doesn't that make them part of your private ditch?
As a private district.
As a private?
No, I don't think that ever happened because they
Mark
asked.
Johnson was there and had to do the surveying and do all that to tell them what to put in for a pipe across the road.
But Lila wasn't willing to, you remember this, Robert, Lila wasn't willing to pay for anything?
Yes, I do. What happened is David and I were to meet with Lila, and we waited an hour. Finally, she showed up, and she said because we owned the land and had the ditch dug, she would pay for the cleanup, which seemed reasonable to us because there's, I mean, many tens of thousands of dollars in land that's taken up by that ditch, plus the digging of the ditch, and so that was what it was. David and I said that's fine with us. But then Mark got involved, and he called me up one morning when I was going to work and was yelling and screaming at me. And that's the only interaction I had with that guy.
Robert, let's slow down, okay? Because I didn't call up yelling and screaming at you, so.
Yes, you did. I was there.
I got thrown, I've been thrown into this ditch a couple times now I'm gonna talk. As far as I know, I am secondary into that conversation. I was not on that gravel road. I was told that the 3 sat there and said yes, and they wanted my mom, who had just lost her husband and in the beginning of Alzheimer's, to pay for the whole cleanup of that ditch. At that point, she didn't know, and she did agree to it. I know that. And then she talked to her brother and I, and we both said, that is a third and a third and a third, because I know what Arlen told me is that all 3 of them sat on the road and said, this ditch, we have a private tile that dumps into it, it goes across the road.
I don't understand. You said Arlen, no, how was Arlen involved?
When this ditch was started, Gerald and Arlen and your dad all agreed that this ditch would be between the 3 of them.
Not to my knowledge. Matter of fact, and he did yell at me, and it wasn't. and Lila, and he was on the phone, he would validate that she volunteered. She said, yeah, I'll clean it. And that was reasonable, we thought, but then as it turned out, that you guys didn't pay anything for the cleanup. So that's just some history. Those are facts.
You guys wanted all or nothing, so.
So, all
And
right,
then when the ditch was cleaned, you didn't clean where our tile runs into, and you threw rocks in front of the tile to slow the water down, because I had to remove them. Well, I should have taken pictures. So anyway, it is what it is. I'm not gonna sit here and argue about things all day. I'm trying to find corn.
so at this point, I think we just wanted to get, everybody's side of it and try to analyze it. And our next item on the agenda is to possibly rescind the resolution we passed for DD 5 Lat 43. And if we do rescind that, then the board will look through engineer's report, will look through all the information available to us and look through the code and see what we can and can't do, what's in the best interest of the district. All right?
And also, please get Heimendinger and me involved with anything to do in the future. Because right now, I just see that this Jacobson survey was a total waste of money because it was predicated not on law, but on somebody's whim.
Well, that's what we're gonna look at and make sure we're doing it by the book.
Okay, and
Thank
you will
you.
get in contact with us prior to,
Yeah, you'll be getting.
before you do anything.
You'll get information.
Okay, good.
All right,
Thank you.
all right, thank you. So,
Okay, bye-bye.
our next item is discussion with possible action rescinding resolution for DD 5 Lat 43.
I'm going to make that motion.
All right. I'll second the motion. A motion from Smith and a second from Derby to rescind the resolution for DD 5 Lat 43 establishment. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries. Are we ready to set a public hearing on this?
No.
No. I think we
I
need to
think
get
we should
more
just take a look at
information, have more discussion, and try to get our ducks in a row before we go that far.
Thank you.
All right. So we have a 9:30 discussion with possible action, informational hearing for DD 6 Lat 1.
I have heard from no one. It's Mr. Oftedal.
Yep.
Kelsey had drawn up an agreement and Mr. Oftedal came in and signed it. There was a question on one of the items and I wanted you to look at it. I don't really know what it means. I'm sorry.
So this is the question.
The highlighted one. Something about a surface drain and I don't know and he didn't know.
This was included last one, but no clue if it's applicable to this one. Okay, so let me.
So John says that it's not.
Okay,
So since he was here, he signed the agreement and crossed that out and initialed it, that we don't need that paragraph. Oh, here's, sorry, page 1.
300 feet of ditch will be cleaned from the inlet, close 30 inches.
And that's the legal description.
So is he saying that the ditch was cleaned before, so it doesn't need to be cleaned? Is that what he's saying?
In which number?
What, says some? Okay, so Mr. Octagal agrees that approximately 300 feet of ditch will be cleaned from the inlet of the proposed.
No, it doesn't have to be clean. He's taking the ditch out. So
Yeah, it's
it
not-
doesn't
It
apply.
doesn't
So-
pertain, it's a
So
non-applicable.
that's the area that was cleaned before is what he's saying.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
So he's just
all right,
not doing anything. He's taking it out and putting in the tile. So
that makes sense to me.
I didn't know if you wanted Kelsey to clean that up and make a new copy, or if that was good enough for you guys. It will
Let's
get
clean it up and make
clean it
it
up?
yeah.
Okay,
Let's
yep.
have it signed.
We'll do that. And I told John that that may be a possibility.
Do we have to have action on it, or it's just an ongoing document we're working on?
What did I say?
Just says informational hearing,
Okay.
With possible action.
yeah.
So you could,
Approve
Approve
it
it,
with the.
and that way
changes.
he can get going on the project.
So
and
he'll
then-
sign a cleaned up copy.
Yes, yep.
Okay. all right?
That's
So
what I
can
would
make that
prefer.
motion?
Well, see, it'd be
Or
Bill's district.
Bill, did you hear that?
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
Okay. You wanna make the second?
I will, I'll second that.
Okay, so I've got a motion from Jensvold and a second from Smith to approve the agreement with John Octaval on DD six lat one with the one change to eliminate one segment of the previous
Paragraph 3.
agreement that was unnecessary,
Paragraph 3.
and we'll clean up the wording on that in the final document. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye. All those opposed, motion carries.
I'll take that back.
He's probably anxious to get going on that.
Yeah, he wanted to know right away, so, thank you.
So the next time I see it, I'll just be signing it.
Right, correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right, next one, auditor's office will discuss drainage matters.
I didn't have anything else that wasn't on the agenda.
Well, so I did get more discussion on DD 11, that bull ditch that's next to the, I talked to
Oh.
the three parties involved with that. You
Okay.
know, the bull ditch is
Yeah.
right on the fence line.
Mm-hmm.
This was a private bull ditch, and I never understood what Jeremy was trying to do, but the contractor, but he was asking, he thought because of the new drainage, they benefit from just filling in the ditch, and they can farm another 8 rows. Just kind of a good measure, you know, it'd be easy to do. Well, I guess the family thought they'd be scraping off the black dirt, putting it in the bottom of the ditch, and didn't want to lose their good topsoil, so they just want to leave it the way it is.
Okay.
And he had spilled a little bit in the ditch, and he was gonna come back today and try and clean that up, and that's the only thing left. Everything else is pretty much leveled. He thought, he was gonna check with his dozer operator, but he thought everything else was leveled, so they can seed that one part.
Okay. Rick was gonna get a hold of the seeding company,
Okay,
and then they would get a hold of NRCS to make sure what needs to be put back.
yeah,
Mhm.
get the specs for it.
Yeah, yep.
But that was the last part, was just in that old ditch
Oh,
area.
good.
He was gonna try and clean that up, so it wouldn't stop anybody at
Good.
this point.
That makes sense, that they don't wanna lose that
Today, they're
dirt.
gonna be planting on both sides of it, so it was kinda critical to get it done.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, Jeremy wanted to be done, so
Okay, good.
he's just had a couple hours left, so. That's all I had for drainage. Anybody else have anything for drainage?
No, I don't have anything.
All right,
All right, well, thank you.
consider
Thanks,
for,
Chris.
Yes.
oh, we got another one. Are we gonna skip the next one then? Westergaard, the DD 5/19?
Oh, sorry, those are just the contracts, Carla has them.
Okay,
They're just, we never had one,
okay,
so they're just to clean up their files.
all right,
And the reason it's 5-19 is because that's what we started calling it, and we did, you know, it did change lat 19 if the District 43 is created.
so,
So that's why it's still called that.
okay, this is like that quagmire with the Buffalo Run or whether Buffalo Creek or whatever. If we're signing a contract for work on that 19, is it District 19 that's paying for it then?
I would change it to District 5 to make the district pay for it,
Just the
instead of just that
entirety of
lateral,
5.
because nobody on lateral 19 petitioned it.
Okay. So should we have an updated copy of this then?
That's what he wants to call it, because that's what it was started as far as Jacobson Westergaard.
Yeah, but is that what we want to call it? Can we,
I don't know if we can change the
that's
contract
a
name if they
separate
don't want.
part of the district?
I tried. You can manually put on there something different and sign it.
See if they sign it.
Yeah.
So if I cross out lateral 19 in those areas, and just make this DD 5, and if it doesn't go through, DD 5 pays for it, and if it does go through, then
Right.
43 pays for it.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's my recommendation. That's your call, but
Okay,
that
so I
would be my
think we
recommendation.
probably should do these individually.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll first make a motion on DD 11 Lower Main contract with Jacobson and Westergaard to approve the contract.
I'll second that.
On a motion from Derby and a second from Smith to approve the contract with Jacobson and Westergaard for engineering work on DD 11 Lower Main. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And then on the manner of the other one, what's today? This is the 27th. Okay. On the manner of the DD5 Lat 19 contract with Jacobson Westergaard, since this is mostly your district, are you okay with the strikes in the contract?
As long as we initial them and
Oh, yeah,
see how it all goes,
how it comes back.
how it comes
That's
back.
how our end of it's gonna be approved for now.
So I'll make that motion.
All right, I'll second the motion. The motion was to approve the contract with Jacobson Westergaard for engineering services for DD5. The contract called for DD5 Lat 19, creating a lateral 43, but we're striking lateral 19 and initialing it and making it DD5 contract for now. And if it goes through, then it'll be 43, if that's what it ends up.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
All right. Any other discussion on that?
None.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, motion carries. Nothing simple anymore.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure it ever was.
It sounds simple, but
I know.
Okay, so I got those. All right, where
Perfect.
are we at?
thank you.
Got just a little time here until 9:45. Probably not enough for Scott. That one's later. We got any open forum we can take care of? You look through it.
Not all the way yet, no.
You can work on those. We got 5 minutes, so it's 4 minutes till the next one. You gonna stamp them today?
Is that supposed to be there?
They put them in groups. No,
That one
it's
was
separate.
there.
I think it's like that.
Oh, okay. Here. Is this the number 12 on the agenda?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's put that there. Well, it's 9:45. Discussion with possible action. Julie Devine, Aflac, to discuss a new cancer policy.
Right. What I have is, first I want to tell you, I really appreciate working with you guys. Auditor's office is great to work with. Everything is always really nice with you guys. And I started working with one more product, and it's not Aflac, so I just want to talk to you about it. I think and it's a great policy, and I don't know how you feel about, implementing another product, another payroll deduction, so I have another option to that also. So it doesn't put more work on you guys if you don't want it. But I started working with Cigna on just their cancer policy. AFLAC is a treatment-based program, which you have to get treatment, and you have to turn in bills every month to get your money. And if an example, a man gets prostate cancer, normally it's surgery, and if they catch it early, that's the end of the treatment. So they don't get a whole lot of money. They maybe get $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. Cigna has a product that is a lump sum diagnosis based. So if you have an option to buy between $5,000 and $75,000 up front. When you get diagnosed, you get that check, and you don't have to turn in bills to get your money. You don't have to get more treatment. You just get that money. They're doing that. A lot of people get alternative treatments now, where Aflac won't pay in those alternative treatments. Where Cigna, you get that money up front. You can go do whatever treatment you want, or no treatment at all. Okay, so basically, it's just a different base policy. I have a special contract with Cigna that says, okay, I can offer a group rate and not have to have a payroll deducted. So I could bring it up at the meeting, tell people about it, have brochures there, and if they want it, we wouldn't have to take out their payroll. You don't have to make another billing for you guys. So that's totally up to you. We can make a payroll out of it. I did MBT Bank, we put in there in December, and we had a lot of people enroll in it. It worked really, really well. So, because people like that, where they don't have to turn in bills for mileage, bills for this, you know what I mean? When they're sick, they already have a problem getting everything taken care of. The other thing that Cigna has on there, they have a chemo radiation rider, which pays $1,400 a week for every week you get radiation, $700 a week every week you get chemo. That's huge. That's a huge benefit. Aflac can compete with that, and I love Aflac. So I'm just telling you, I've been with Aflac 24 years, they're an amazing company. But this is an amazing product. So I didn't know if it's an option where I can throw it out to the people, because I feel kind of guilty, if they're looking at something, not to tell them, hey, there's another option out there that may fit your needs better, and sell them this. And I'm glad I sell Aflac, because I love Aflac. But I feel they need that option, because other companies are going to come along and show them something on this border.
Well, I guess I'd hate to not give anybody the option for a policy. I mean, it can be marketed in other ways too, but
How would you get the information to the people?
Well, when I do the open enrollment presentation with the health insurance, I would have it there at that time. So I would present the Aflac, and then I would tell them there's also another option. So instead of hitting the Aflac cancer policy so much, I just do a comparison of the two. So it wouldn't take any more time. Would just be the same thing, tell them it's treatment-based or diagnosis-based. And if they want to see me, then they can see me, on the side. And I would have the pamphlets there. The rates are really cheap. It's $12 for every 10,000. That's really, really inexpensive.
is there a return of premium clause on this, or it's just
There is
straight?
not.
Okay.
Aflac used to have it years and years ago, but they took that away, and this one does not have it. I know there's a company out there that is very, very, Washington National has return of premium. Somebody from the county actually called me last week on it. Their premium they were buying was $300 and some a month to get the return of premium. However, if they get cancer, they're not going to get the return of premium, because they're going to take off all their cancer claims. So now they've just doubled their premium, more than doubled, they tripled what they should be spending, where they could be investing the difference and not using the return of premium. That doesn't really make sense in a cancer policy. So basically she said, wow, we didn't think of it that way. Because if you get cancer, that return premium is gone. So basically this is a whole lot better deal, because now you can pay $12 per every 10,000, and that's individual, and a couple is not quite double, and to have kids on is just a few dollars a month. So you got the whole family insured, and you don't have to worry about that. You can get a ton of coverage like I bought 50,000 on myself for $60 a month. And so, you know, for that, you think the return premium with, Washington National was $300 some dollars. They're gonna get a lot more payment out of the upfront
But
money.
it, yeah, it shows up and it only costs you so much because it's not a return premium, but you have the coverage.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and now this product can't be pre-tax, that's why it doesn't make any advantage to taking a payroll deduct. Because a lump sum product can't be pre-tax like that. So, you know, like I said, you can definitely do it through the payroll, but that's one more thing that they have to work with. Do you know what I mean? That makes them more work. And so if we can get the same rate not being payroll deducted, I feel that's a better option for you guys' workload.
And the Aflac one is a payroll deduct?
It is payroll deducted, yes. Netflix product is still really good, it's just that this is a whole different concept.
Well, I guess, I feel like, you know, anything we can offer as a benefit, it's an optional benefit, it's not like
It's not something that
that we're
the county
paying,
is
we're out of
covering
county money.
anyway.
Right.
So I don't know why we wouldn't want to give employees the option.
Right. And most groups are doing that, they're giving them both options.
Policies are, they're changing all the time with
They
the
are.
conditions and the way things are,
Right.
and costs and.
So you're saying the advantage to this one is that it's based on diagnosis, not on
Treatment, right.
treatment?
So like I have a friend that got diagnosed with brain cancer, 47 years old, not gonna do treatment because he's like not gonna make it very long anyway. If he had had this policy, he would have got whatever amount he would have got, and with Aflac, he might have got like $5,000 or $6,000 for diagnosis. Because they have the first occurrence, Aflac does, but after that, everything has to be for treatment. And so many people are actually going to get an alternative treatments.
You can leave it open, it was just loud out there.
And this gives them cash flow to do whatever they want to do.
Okay.
So, I like it a lot. I mean, like I said, I presented MBT in the fall, and they liked it. And we had a really nice enrollment there with the that. And the thing I like about it is Aflac new cancer policy. Their old ones are, I have to say, are much better than their newer cancer policy. They give $1,200 a month for chemo and radiation together, and this one gives $1,400 a week for chemo if you add it on, and $700 a week for radiation. So that's a huge difference.
Bill, did you hear the presentation on the Cigna insurance then?
Yes, I did, yep.
Are you okay with moving forward as an additional option?
Yes, I am, yep.
All right. Well, I'll make a motion to approve the addition of the Cigna cancer policy, I think is how we describe it.
And it does have a
Option.
heart rider on it that you can add on to another option just like that. The Aflac heart policy is actually better, but in the same brochure, it does give a heart option. So I just need to tell you that somebody may choose to do that.
Okay, so
Okay.
I probably better make my motion to include the cancer/heart
Right, that'd be good.
option for insurance to the county employees.
I'll second that.
Okay. Got a motion from Derby and a second from Smith to approve the addition of Cigna heart or cancer/heart policy option in our offerings to our employees. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, motion carries. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do we have dates set for open enrollment yet? Do you know?
Go ahead and talk to Chelsea. She can help you out.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thanks. That goes with the payroll.
Can we take a quick recess?
Sure. We got things to say. Gotta tell you the Washington National one.
Dan, when we went there after the meeting last week, it was about remodeling
What's that?
in the magistrate room.
Oh.
Dan wanted me to go.
Was the magistrate there?
Nobody.
Every time I go to his lawyer's office, they get it. Oh,
It does need,
Yeah,
it needs to be
you have
addressed.
to stamp every one.
Oh.
Not just
Oh,
cover.
good grief. Oh, really?
They're all individual.
In every one of them?
Oh, yeah. They're just,
No wonder
they're
we
just
needed
grouped by
a stamp.
departments. Well, this one's going well, yeah.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah, we'll just put this back.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if that means,
That'll be,
You can just-
have a receipt.
okay,
Well, I'll wait till he's been here.
yeah.
He was with Steve Jones.
Mhm.
If something doesn't come up.
It must have come up.
Speaking of devils,
We were just talking about it.
we were just looking at the sheet. Oh, she stamped it. I said, well, I'm not stamping until he comes in.
Oh,
You gotta show up to get a stamp.
all right.
He must be trucking. Sit down. Good.
So you guys gonna dress like Brett Wilson and put your picture on
No,
Facebook?
I didn't see the wrong with that outfit. I needed taller black socks. That's my day-to-day activity. See that? Oh my. Did you see this year's Christmas card?
Which one was it?
Yeah, that weird.
I think I missed that one.
Yeah,
I saw the hillbilly one a couple
Yeah.
years ago.
we had it and immediately lost it. It was good.
How's our jail numbers been?
I mean, not as high as we've had in the past, but we're higher than we were, I guess, 8 months ago. So,
I don't know that we're fully back from COVID
No,
yet.
no.
As far as trials and stuff are just kind
Right.
of starting to pick up now.
We're accepting all the minimuses and stuff like that. People serve time, but it's just the court system, I think, is kind of backed up yet, too, so.
Are they even doing trials in person? Trials?
We haven't, I don't think we've really.
We're just starting to get some court notices for May.
Yeah.
And that's really been about, first ones I've got, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got our jail built when we did.
Yeah.
I think
I
we
can't
hit the
imagine.
market just
I
right.
can't imagine what the price would be now.
It'd be at least twice, if not more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had some
If you could get
discussion
it.
with Robert Schwartz about the environmental center.
Oh, sure.
Well, we're about 10 o'clock. Let's see, Steve Hepperly, Sheriff, to discuss with possible action personnel matters.
That's not it.
That's not it?
No, that's
That's
not.
something else?
Yeah.
Oh, it's personnel matters.
Well,
Just doesn't need approval.
not the ones that we're talking about.
That's not it, huh?
This one,
Oh, okay. All right. Well, first off, guys, good morning and thanks for your time. We'll just jump right into it. Got a couple, 2, 3 things here, but the first one, we would like to create a sergeant position. I've kind of spoke of it briefly before, but it'll be an interdepartmental bump up. We're not hiring an additional body, is what we would like to do, effective July 1. Be kind of a night shift supervisor, for lack of a better explanation. A lot of the area departments have kind of the same similar structure as, size-wise and what we would do. And a lot of it is to alleviate load, especially off of Mike, and just kind of distribute duties amongst people. But then, like I said, to have that command staff at night when they're working, for the younger officer to go to, make that decision if it needs to be made, in lieu of calling Mike at that point. So they would be kind of in charge of our scheduling, training, and other duties that we may delegate their way. Anything you want to fill in with that, Mike?
It is figured in our budget that we budgeted for next year,
correct.
so we already figured that in, so.
Yeah.
it's-
One question I'd asked you before, how it would work with the union.
Okay, Kelsey was gonna be here today, but she had something come up, so she's not able. She's gonna fill in some of those blanks, but she has referred, and she's given us kind of her blessing to go ahead with
Yeah.
this, and she's
Would
dealt into some of
the
those.
sergeant be in the union or?
He would not be in
Not-
the union because it'd be a
no.
supervisory
It'd be-
position.
Yeah, okay, yeah, we got there at the top management supervisory.
Okay.
And like I said, just kind of a brief overview. She's kind of looked over our job description here and.
Okay.
And she thinks it's a wise idea
Yeah.
also. It just adds an extra layer of protection for us, so.
But I would think, I can't remember, does the union have to approve supervisory? position?
What
I
they
don't
can
think
do is they can try to claim the position, but
Oh, I see.
because it's a supervisory position, the union really wouldn't have much claim to it.
Right.
So it depends on how the union would react, but we don't need the union's blessing to do something like this.
That's what I wanted to know.
So like I say, I guess that's what we're asking for, is your blessing as the board for us to be able to.
I just want to make sure we're having
create
a
the
continued
position.
relationship with the union. We're not, throwing something
Yep.
in the mix that would upset them, but I don't think it should. I mean, it's going to help everybody.
Right. And
And I think my personal opinion is this kind of gives somebody, it's just one more goal to look forward to as you move up the ladder
Mhm.
type of thing.
yeah, and like I say, there would be some minimum qualifications for it and stuff, and one of them being 5 years on our department, so. And all the other knowledge and skills and the abilities listed above there, so.
And this is similar to what you did in the jailers part of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have a sergeant in the jail.
So that was our getting our feet wet with it there.
Mhm. Yeah, so.
And other counties around us have this?
Yeah, other counties, police departments, even of the same number of bodies, employees.
Worth County has a sergeant,
Yeah.
Cassuth County has a sergeant. Forest City PD has 2 lieutenants. So,
But, I guess the one thing you'll probably get, or I would probably get some flack for is, well, do we have too many chiefs and not enough Indians?
Yeah.
And I see this as a working supervisory
right,
position.
yep, yeah.
So. Bill, did you have any questions on this?
No, I do not.
Okay.
It sounds like a good thing, like you were saying, a little incentive.
Yeah, without much cost to the department, really.
Correct. And like I say, that was factored in, so.
Yeah. Well, so we would be approving a position called sergeant then, with the specifications laid forward.
Yes.
I guess I would entertain a motion for approval of that.
I'll make that motion.
All right,
Makes good sense.
I'll second the motion. So we've got a motion from Smith and a second from Derby to approve a sergeant's position, supervisory position in the sheriff's department. That would be excluded from the union, since it's supervisory. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries. We want to mark this with approved then?
Sure.
Approved?
Approved.
It's 27, right?
Yep. Was when I got up this morning. Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Second on the list, Brandon Bankston, our deputy, he graduated from the Iowa Law Enforcement Academy last Wednesday. So we're up to full speed, full staff, and he came back to work yesterday. So, okay, and third thing on my list, one of our deputies was involved in an accident the other night, and we believe totaled the squad truck that he was in. So we're waiting for insurance adjuster to look at the
When was
vehicle.
that? The truck?
The black
Okay.
Ford that Dave was driving. Yeah.
All right. Well, it's been a while, hasn't it? Of course, you're not driving as many miles anymore. You aren't getting all the deer anymore.
I knew where you were going.
He's pretty notorious for hitting deer.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
They fight.
Well, if you put enough miles on, you're gonna hit
If
the
they'd
deer.
stay out of my roadway, I'd be fine.
Your hours are a little different now.
Yeah, true that.
It's those dusk and dawn hours you gotta stay with.
Yeah. So, those are the three items I had. Mike, is there anything you wanted to impart?
No, that's just, like you said, we totaled that truck, so it's all what the insurance, I guess, comes back with, and then, so we're gonna have to buy another vehicle, obviously, so we might have to do an
Who's the
amendment.
carrier for that insurance?
Oh, Missile.
Missile is, local agent is Missile,
Is
so.
it ICAP that has that?
ICAP.
ICAP, yeah.
Yep.
So that's a good policy.
Yep.
All right, well, thanks for
Well,
the
that's too
information.
bad.
Yeah,
And the driver was okay?
okay, yep.
I forgot to ask that. I assumed he was, since you didn't say otherwise.
Yep.
That's the important part.
Yeah. We can replace a truck. All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Other than that, things are going really well, and
So you have someone in mind for this sergeant post?
yeah, like I say, it would, be one of two deputies, they qualify with the experience
Should
and
have the
whatnot.
5
so,
years.
Yeah. Pretty much everybody else that we have is new or probationary period right now, so.
So some of the new ones probably have more than 5 years' experience, which is not with us.
Correct, right? Yeah.
Okay. All right, so trying to keep up. It probably doesn't matter if the staff for the sheriff's department, where all do they live now? They're kind of on all the community, almost all the,
One is rural, 3 in town here. I'm in Thompson, you're in Buffalo. We have another second one in Buffalo.
there's 2 in Thompson.
2 in Thompson.
2 or 3.
2.
So there was one on north of the school building.
North of where?
There used to be one just a block north of the school.
Yep.
Is he moved then?
It was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, he moved west in town.
Yep.
Oh,
Still in town. Yep.
all right. So that, I just thought they were supposed to. All right.
That's everybody.
Yep.
So we're kind of spread out then.
Yep.
That's always a concern if somebody has to, all of a sudden,
Need somebody to move to Lake Mills?
well, there's one there?
No.
We did have at one point, yeah. But
Oh, he's
no,
gone.
he's no longer here, so they kind of went back home, so.
They do have their own police force, but,
Yeah.
so what area of the county is the rural one then?
Forest City area,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
A lot of people, they kind of get hung up on that, where they live kind of a thing, but like I say, when you're patrolling, you're patrolling.
Yeah, right.
You're out everywhere.
I'm just thinking as a,
Yep.
as a
Yeah.
backup person or something like that.
Yeah.
And we can't mandate it really, I don't think.
No.
He suggested, but
I don't know, everybody seems to want an acreage though, so.
it's kinda nice not having a neighbor.
Yeah.
They're hard to find though.
There's a couple for sale coming up at auction.
Really?
Yeah, this next month.
Okay.
There's also a church in Thompson for sale.
Yeah, the Methodist church.
Hadn't heard that.
That'd be a big house.
I was thinking it'd make a great, wedding and prom dress venue,
Yeah.
They love those things.
That converted church up in Rake is beautiful. I haven't been in there for 20 years, but they did a really neat job with that. Okay, well, thank you for your time.
Thanks, guys.
Good, thank you.
It'd be interesting to see how you like that, having a extra
Mm-hmm.
person for supervisory.
I think, like I say, delegate the duties and just kind of level that out amongst the ranks, that'd be good.
I never put the two and two together though as having another level of something to aspire to,
Right.
Yeah.
and that's important as well.
Yeah.
I suppose, big outfit, then you get even more.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We're a big outfit.
We're getting big.
But I'm more than pleased with the guys that are doing such good work and,
Well, from when I started here, 11 years ago or whatever, it's totally different now because back then we were so scarce with staff
Yeah.
to go out and cover a lot of time.
Right.
I mean, it's just everybody was working overtime all the time,
Yeah.
or we'd be hiring part-timers all the time to fill it.
Mm-hmm.
You never know who was driving that car.
Yep.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily their car, it was just their turn to drive it. So,
And really with all the negativity in the news and stuff now, I just want to take the opportunity to say how much I personally and my family really appreciate.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And like I said, we're truly blessed to live where we do. We're, the community supports us and, that's nice to live in this small area where we do, We know each other. Our kids go to school with each other and
And the
they know us
respect is
as
there.
individuals.
I'm guessing you're not gonna be losing a lot of your recruits to a big city anymore.
No.
Well,
I think there's a respect still,
Yeah.
which is important.
There's a level of respect which is there in our communities and should be everywhere.
right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I wish everybody
It's,
would take our lead.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Yep.
Means a lot.
Thanks.
Hi, Scott, we're ready for you.
Sun's out.
That'll feel good. Go out and get my vitamins.
quite an auction bill.
Yeah, I was sorry to see the 5010 on there, but I was thinking that they should have been pulling that disc thing with it,
Oh,
chew up the edges of the road.
you know, I actually was telling somebody about that. We owned that piece of machinery, and they said they'd never seen it. And I said,
It's
I've never
like
seen
one
it.
time a year it goes out,
Oh.
and then it's done.
I have a couple of friends that used to be on the work for the road, so they always have comments and. But actually, it's really good because they see stuff that I would never notice. And I feel like I should have a box of flags in the back of my truck because I see blowouts on the sides of roads and I would like to put a flag on it
And
instead
then
of
mark it with SS, then they know who to call.
something. There was one where I specifically told TJ, because he was coming down the road with a planter, I said, make sure you don't hug the right side of that road because there's 2 blowouts on there, you know? And then you have to remember where it was, you know? You see it and it's, you want to make sure you
I
tell.
thought every farmer had flags in their vehicle.
Well, I have flags, but I want those big ones that
Oh,
pound in and.
so you could make some, just have some stakes that you attach some of those flags, like from the lumberyard for long loads.
I looked at the one that they use where I told them to put it in on that, by that Landy,
Yeah.
and it's a piece of re-rod with a mesh
Yeah, okay.
flag.
You get out to see B&W spraying them, or
I didn't know where they were. Oh my gosh, did I get you?
no, well, here,
Right in the eye?
I'm partially sanitized. I just saw it coming like
I'm
this.
so sorry.
I should be watching this on YouTube to see what's going on.
I tried to use the hand sanitizer and it was kind of plugged in the tip and it squirted all over the supervisor desk and Terry as well.
I'm glad I was looking at the time.
That might have hurt.
I would,
I would imagine that stuff would sting in the eye.
It would.
they kind of split around me. God was with me. Like that time.
Oh, you're kind of like Moses, huh? You parted the seas?
It was kind of like that time the tornado, one of the tornadoes went by our church, and it took the cottonwood on the south side, and it took a cottonwood on the north side. It didn't touch the church.
Wow.
We lost like 2 shingles. That was it. What happened to Scott?
What's happening on timeline on the roof and stuff? I know it's not on the agenda, but I'm just curious.
We have some, the wood is ordered, and Dave Randall's gonna store that at his place. The shingles will not be here till probably into July.
Oh,
They're having a hard time, they haven't even made them yet, is what I understand,
okay.
so.
I just ordered some shingles the other day that have been similar. I think it's a different brand though. Similar specs. They were supposed to be in this week. All depends on who the supplier is. If the supplier's from Iowa, then it's gonna take a while.
Mhm.
If it's from
You,
Minnesota, Minnesota's.
you probably didn't get quite the quantity either, huh?
No, But, regardless, I think, I think it's just that the derecho has affected all the suppliers in Iowa more than farther up in Minnesota.
Oh, yeah, yeah, no, I
I'm
agree.
getting it through the lumberyard from a supplier in St. Cloud.
Oh.
They're a large supplier that gets factory direct.
All right, I'm gonna get out here for a bit, so.
Yeah, we're waiting for Scott to get here.
Yeah.
Hear him.
Morning.
Hello.
Morning.
You good?
Trying to solve some problems quick before I came off, so
Putting out fires?
not too bad. Just trying to keep everybody moving and working.
What do you have first today?
Yeah. One thing to note, Michaels is starting with Alliant Energy on their project that we approved a couple weeks ago. Starting kind of just on the east side of Leland, going north to A38 and then over to the Winnebago Church, that stretch there. So they'll be doing some boring work and starting on Wednesday, I'm told. We also are spot loading, hauling spot loads to soft spots throughout the county. We've kind of gotten through the west half of the county and are kind of working north to south on the rest of it, I'd say. Hauling crushed concrete, and that's going pretty good.
What's the concrete looking like?
It's pretty good stuff. It's pretty clean.
Okay.
I mean, there's no metal or anything in it. Just trying something different,
Mhm.
a little bit cheaper, so it's kind of a test. See how it is.
Pretty quick too, kind of hauling from Forest City as opposed to Fertile too, so that's nice.
All the blade guys seem to like it, so.
So it'll just be whether it holds up in the end then.
I think that's the only concern I have, is if it gets, traffic pounds it to dust quicker than rock or what. But
I like the recycling aspect of it.
I guess I like the aspect, sometimes the limestone will not break down quick enough and you have to spend more product on top of it to cover it.
yeah, it's
So it all depends on the situation, some areas are gonna need a bigger rock that will stay a while and some areas aren't.
yeah, this is supposed to be 1.25 inch minus, and so we're trying to pick spots that are soft and we'll kind of mix together with it, like you said. So hopefully it's the right application where it works well.
How much cheaper was it again?
Well, was it six?
It's about the same price as gravel.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, what, 625 a ton in Forest City here, and like I said, the fertile limestone is over 8 now. I can't remember what the
Do you ever
exact price
figure
is.
what the cost per mile to haul is?
We kind of use 30 cents per ton per loaded mile, but I haven't done the math to see if that number still is workable. I think if we were to contract a big haul from BMC, I think we could probably get it less than that. It's a tough number to put your finger on because it's all about the cost of operations and what do we need to have anyway and how much, it's easy to tell you it takes this much fuel to haul it here, but to say it takes this much manpower and would that guy be doing something else? And it takes this much in cost of ownership for the truck that we'd have to own anyway. And how much of the depreciation goes with the mileage or the years, and it's really tricky to put your finger on that. But something I'd like to do, walk through that a little bit.
Okay.
Another thing I just wanted to touch on, and I asked Ethan to come into today, this time of year, and sometimes it's a little bit later, maybe more like middle of May, but we'll get anywhere from 5 to 10 calls from people about windrows being too big. We talked a little bit about that last week. So it's a really, it's a part of the maintenance we do every spring, but not on every road. So when it comes up, it's a surprise to people, and they're not used to it and think it's something new and different. But it does happen every year on some scale to some roads. So this year, I think we've gotten 3 calls, and we've talked about it here. So not unusual, but we also had a couple guys move around blade territories, and so you'll see them try to sort of do things how they like it, how to say it. So maybe we've seen more this year than others, and also it's been very dry, so there hasn't been a lot of rain, dry action working those windrows down. So that's I guess the current situation is kind of a necessary part of maintenance to cut corners off the road, but it does cause some concerns from the public. And we're aware of that and trying to brainstorm ideas about how to improve that. So
Some counties have just that little disc on the front of the grader or something that chews it up off the edge.
we have one, it's on right now, and they put it on last week. It's not something we've had out every year, but I think we will. Ours fits on a grader where you have to dismount all the snow equipment. So it has a little bit of a,
Is it on the Walderson on the front, or what is it?
it's on the front.
It's on the front, and then it also goes back to where the wing post would be, so we have to take the wing post off to put it on. So, I mean, this year, could have maybe taken a gamble and put it on a little bit sooner, but you hate to take your snow equipment off the machine and then
Right.
get a foot of snow.
And we only have one, right?
And we just have one. I know some counties like them and have them for every machine, and we're going to try out a few different applications this year and see what he thinks and see how he wants to use it. But they make them that mount on the back of tractors on 3 points. So you can make them that I saw now that they bolt on the moldboard.
So these are the ones that actually, before you blade it, it discs it ahead of time.
Right. So instead of all the clumps, it kind of shaves it into slivers, so it kind of more spreads
So I'm
out.
trying to mitigate our existing problem where we have these clumps that are pretty hard and they're pretty tall and they're pretty far in. It can be this much in from the edge of the road
Sure,
sometimes.
3 feet or so, yeah.
And the issue I see, I can try to avoid them, but if you're meeting a piece of farm equipment or something and you have to go out there, that really hurts. I mean, that,
You have to stop and pull over. Yeah.
well, yeah, you still have to get by and get on and off, and it's pretty solid stuff. It's not breaking down in the rain yet.
No, we haven't got any rain.
The snow soaked into it, but,
Yeah.
so I'm just wondering, is there some type of, we haven't got our lease tractor yet.
No.
Somewhere between Germany and here. So,
I've had to get over alongside the road quite a few times hauling fertilizer and driving those clumps, and I'm actually driving down a gravel road right now in Cassuth County, and they cut the edge off, but they bladed the grass clumps and all that stuff is bladed off into the ditch. They bladed it the other way. They edged it somehow.
you don't want to do that, because then you're just putting material off into the ditch that will never get back.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of that.
And the reason we leave it so far in is because you want that grass to grow back out on that edge. If you just leave that windrow out on the edge, it'll never grow right there again, or it takes longer for it to grow.
Yeah,
Well,
but
they scraped all the grass off the edge of this road and put it in the ditch, so their theory must be the opposite.
Bill, where are you talking there?
I'm down by Burt, just a little bit, just about, I'm 2 miles straight west of Burt.
Okay. Well, I'll call and ask, see what they're up to.
it all depends on how much rock you have mixed in with it. I mean, if it's just sod, that could,
Yeah, it looks like they went along the edge and just
they weren't scraping off the road, they were just scraping down the edge. I mean, right here, there's a field drive, and then there's a pretty good windrow of that stuff in the field drive. But,
We'll see what they're up to.
Well, I guess, you know, knowing every year we're gonna have to rely on a lease tractor for now to operate that piece of equipment that works really well for mitigating this problem. Is there another option where it could be pulled by a pickup or something, a smaller version,
We talked about that too.
just for that little strip that you've already created?
Yeah, we talked about that too.
It's
'Cause
not
you gotta,
hydraulic, so-
yeah, it's got hydraulics, so you'd have to have something that has hydraulics. And then we also have to kind of coordinate that effort with the blade guys so that we hit it when they're done with one pass, but before they do their second pass. So it'd be a little bit of a tricky thing to work out.
Well, I was just thinking, you know, the stuff's sitting there right now. If you had a coulter disc thing that you just pulled down the road, it doesn't have to be very big,
It would need
just
to
to
be
chop it up.
further from the edge of the road to do that. I
Oh,
think.
it's, right now, it's this far.
Yeah, 3 feet, yeah. It'd have to be more like in the middle of the road, I think.
And we've tried our disc that we have on the maintainer now to go out there and chop it up, but it's just too aggressive.
For the
It's at
width,
too,
yeah.
it's at too much of an aggressive angle, it just doesn't chop it up, it just,
It's not adjustable that way.
So we're trying things. And I think we'll look into I want to look into a disc that fits on the moldboard too, so you could put it on earlier, and that would be a lot different if you could make the round with that before the blade guys go out. I think that'd make a big difference, because then you're kind of fixing the problem before you make it. It doesn't do anything for the windrows that are out there right now. They're pretty big, but they'll shake out in a couple weeks.
So the disc you have for a grader now, do you use that for edge running too?
that's what it's doing right now, it's on blacktops. Reclaiming.
But Ethan's gonna take it out later in the week and work on some gravels and see what kind of progress he can make that way. If it works really well, I think it's something we could try to have on early and put up, I mean, how fast can you go?
Like 6 gears, so we're doing like 15 miles an hour.
You can cover a lot of.
Cover a lot of ground, you know, compared to just a blade. So, what I'm just a little bit leery about is, you know, the number one factor in keeping roads in good shape is having enough crown and not having the lip on the edge of the road. So I don't want to discourage the guys from, you know, working on having the proper crown. If all the roads go flat, we'll have a worse problem, and that's the whole road will be sloppy. But like I said, we're cognizant of the concern, so we're trying some different things. I think we'll be able to improve on it.
Figured one of the guys want to take the 50-10 out and do it.
We talked about that too. Yeah,
About
I
that
think
time.
it would work.
About that time you'd have a breakdown and it's supposed to be on the sale in May.
Yeah. I think it would work. It's just, you gotta have a guy to run it, and then you gotta coordinate the effort with all the blade guys to make sure that their windrows are far enough from the edge to be able to, you know, spread them all out and not lose all the material off the edge of the road and stuff like that, so.
So are they out blading right now? Okay, so what was, you know, chunks now, when they push it to the other side, is it starting to break up?
Yeah, they're starting to break up, and then they try to shake it out. I mean, there'll be little grass clumps in the middle of the road too, but you gotta shake it out that way, otherwise you just put it from one side to the other and it never won't change. So, yeah, they're breaking down. I mean, it's nice, it is dry, I mean, that helps too.
I don't suppose, yeah, like the Packer wheels on the back of a grader doesn't do it enough.
To just pound them down a little
Yeah.
bit? No, not really, it's just too rough on them.
Yeah. Much like it is on the cars and the trucks and the diggers and.
It's a hard thing, you only have a short amount of time to do it, because if we did it later on when the grass starts to grow on that shoulder, then that windrow's gonna be twice as big.
So the other thing we've talked about before was, another way to mitigate it is to keep it bladed wide, so we don't have that buildup at the end of the year that we have to deal with in the spring.
Yeah, that has some drawbacks to it.
Depends on how wide the road is.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that outer 3 feet or whatever is always the softest. And so the grass kind of helps give it some stability. And
Otherwise it ends up in your ditches anyway.
yeah, it also is kind of like a fingers, you know, that catch all the rolling rock and everything to keep it from flying off the road.
Erosion.
Yeah. I mean, if you see like the newer shoulders that we put on paved roads, a lot of times those will really erode for several years before they really start to tie together with vegetation. And you have some of the similar issue.
And I'm not saying, taking it all, I'm just saying if you have something like this, take this much of it, so you still have a foot there or something, and you're at least keeping it clean in that path. But like you said, if there's not enough rock there to stabilize it down in that area, that might not be good too.
Last year, we had quite a few field driveways that really had a huge bump. And I don't know if it was just graded low and the drive was high, or if it was actually that stuff, that gathered there, but that was a problem around our whole place, that direction. So I don't know if you can ask the guys to be more cognizant about those field driveways, and how they leave those, because boy, when that comes in the fall, and taking a fully loaded sprayer up and over those things are really not.
Yeah, I think they tend to lose windrows through the year.
Yeah.
Because the idea is to have all the material from the outside to the middle.
So maybe those weren't even windrows, maybe they were just.
Probably just the driveway being higher, and then they cut it.
Sod buildup on the driveway for them.
That,
Yeah.
trying to keep the crown in that spot, because you don't want to go to every driveway and doing the wobble. So,
I did see one area where it was west of Leland, where the blade operator went over somebody, or the area where the driveway was, but they got, they kind of eased up because it had a hump, but then they didn't. It must have moved along pretty good clip because they didn't get it back down right away. I mean, and so it didn't really cut for quite a ways. But I suppose that's a way of filling it back in to level it out more from one end to the other. It was a challenge, though.
It can't be an easy job, I know that,
No.
because it's, you realize it when you see all the different roads and all the different conditions, they're each kind of different. too.
Yeah, every day is different. I mean, when they're dry as they are right now, the machine's act different. Doesn't have the pressure on it from when a road has got moisture in it. They cut different, they feather different. Every day is a different thing. So.
All I do this time of year for 3 weeks or so is drive up and down gravel roads, and I'm gonna have to admit that, I don't know which is right. I know what you guys are saying when you're talking about how you're doing it, but I can't remember ever seeing that kind of a pile of stuff on the side of a Cassuth County, gravel road. I just can't remember ever seeing it, and I know the ones that I just drove on it looks like they left probably they didn't go deep enough to take the root of the grass, but they scraped the side, the edge off where they needed to. They scraped it off into the ditch instead of on the road.
Like it was a whole other pass just to do that?
Well, it looks like what they did is they must have had been over and had the edge of their blade over and had it tilted up enough to where they just cut the side of the road off. They just took that edge off and put it down in the ditch.
Okay. Well, anything else for road department?
If you get any call, or if you get any couple calls about that or whatever, have them call us and we can try and talk through it and go take a look at it. We'll take a look at every one we get, you know, just to make sure that we're doing what we intend to and things aren't excessive or whatever, so we'll try and take a look at every one. That's all I have.
The auction bill looked full.
Oh, man, I can't believe how much, you know, once you start digging through stuff.
And you had people
Sorting.
driving through, looking at stuff.
No,
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 not yet.
we're cataloging on Friday, so it'll all be online, I don't know, first part of next week, I suppose. At that point, if people see stuff they want, they can come look at it, I suppose. But till now, it's just the list.
Are they marketing the 5010 on the vintage sites then?
I don't know specifically, but we think we can get what we paid for it back in the 70s or whatever.
Oh, well, I'm sure you can.
So, in that
You know, I
regard, a good
kind of thought it
investment.
would be nice if you guys donated the 5010 to the supervisors to pull floats in the parade.
Oh, there you go.
Who's driving?
Who's driving?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll probably have to let the real farmer do it, huh? The rest of us are just,
I say dibs.
I like power shifts myself.
oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
No, that's gonna be interesting. There's a lot of product on there and then people,
Yeah,
Talk to
I
me
mean,
about
if you go by there, drive back in the yard, the guy's got all the lumber piled into lots because we have to catalog ahead of time. So it's covers, I mean, the whole yard is covered with lots of lumber and,
I peeked back there, but I didn't drive back
Yeah.
there.
yeah, so a little ways to go yet. I mean, there's, so much stuff back there that a lot of it hasn't been used in either of our time. So we're, having to ask everybody, do you know anything about this, and see if we can't get a good plan for some of it. But
Just food for thought, but have you looked at the possibility, when you get done with a lease on one of these tractors, what the cost of buyout is and a rotation program or something to replace?
So you're saying a buyout of the lease to just keep the tractor and buy it, basically?
But I don't know if they have government discount after you've leased it.
Probably do. Yeah, it's just, one of those things. I think a lease probably costs more than owning it
No, I'm sure it does.
in the long run.
The
but
government lease is really cheap.
One more thing that we don't have to, do a lot of work on in the spring with our own mechanics when we're one shy right now with the guy out on medical leave, but it's,
I'll just put in my plug for with the new Gatsby.
yeah, I haven't heard from you on what we gotta do there.
I don't know, I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think it's gonna be fun.
How does that affect?
Well, I think it's just a lot of paperwork every time we have a lease.
Okay.
Is basically what I've been told. I haven't been trained on it yet, so
Great.
yeah.
We have 3 tractors that we own, 3 mower tractors. So having a 4th is, kind of got necessary when we had the bat wing, and now we got the bat wing with the, what do I want to call it, articulating arm or whatever. 4 tractors seems like a lot to own for a small county, but like every county would tell you they don't have enough mowers.
But this tractor would probably be less maintenance than the other ones you have, right? It's a different
It's
type of operation.
PTO and pulling instead of, all the stuff mounted to it and everything, but it doesn't have the hydraulic motor and everything. Yeah, maybe.
If you put on a rotation of every so many years and utilize the government discount, if they still offer it, sometimes they have a pretty competitive thing, but if there's a lot of demand for equipment, like right now, they might not have much discount.
Yeah, when we paid for our last tractor, was it 100,000?
130 some,
Was that with the mowers on it, or
1,150.
just one more, big purchase to do?
But
After
here
May
we-
17th, Elizabeth's supposed to have the guidance on all that stuff, so
Okay.
we'll get together after that.
I'm just saying we'd have it for at least, a couple more months out of the year to use.
Yeah, when do we normally have it by? Do we normally have it by now?
April, yeah, so,
And there's times that maybe, I don't know, do we have a tractor to do the mowing, like a batwing mower in the winter?
No, so what we used to do is, we have three tractors with mounted mowers. So we would dismount all the mowers to pull the batwing.
Yeah.
You know, and that's, what is it, a couple of days or a week?
it's a pretty big project to drop in.
So, you know, you gotta take it off and put it back on and take all that time, so.
It's just one more thing for a mechanic to do too, just,
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is, yeah, I appreciate that part of it.
Yeah.
That if you had a tractor in the winter, there are times, I've seen up in Wisconsin, they don't even go in the ditches and mow those areas they need to mow to keep the weeds down, keep the trees down, things like that, until it freezes.
Mm.
And they can get in there without getting stuck.
mhm.
And, yeah, there might be a little snow on the ground, but it doesn't matter real more.
Yeah. Something to think about for sure. Owning the fourth tractor.
I would think that that tractor should hold pretty good value for only 3 years or something, you know, just rotate it on trade or something.
Yeah. Could be. I know we've talked about that with pickups too, you know. We get such a good deal on the front end for trading to the retail market. Maybe it makes sense to trade a little quicker on some of our more useful pickups for the public. Yeah, could be.
All right, well, I didn't have anything else.
I was just gonna ask you if we had talked at one time about the weed control, and how you were gonna try to coordinate guys when they saw weeds in the ditches and stuff.
Oh,
We
sure.
specifically talked about, wild parsnip and, you know, those kinds of things. Have you talked to them about it?
With Robert, that kind of the way we kind of got to get together on it, but the way we've talked is we're going to have our brush boom mower on with chemical, and he's going to have his normal spraying operation, and we're going to try and kind of make a map for each of us and kind of share some duties there. But that's mostly for brush control.
Yeah,
As far
that's
as
what they're doing in the ditches right now, right?
No, that's
Dredge
drainage
ditches is
ditches.
separate.
No, I know, that's what I mean, but they're spraying for that
for brush.
right now,
Yeah.
starting.
Yeah, as far as weed control, you know, we'll mow the shoulders, but that's about all we can do for weed control. We'll do some back slopes and things like that in the fall too. That's really not for weed control, it's more like snow traps. But as far as spraying weeds, that's really all on Robert's department, conservation, to take care of that.
I think
And I
part
don't
of-
think, maybe wild parsnip's one of them, but he's
No.
often, yeah,
He said it wasn't.
he's often telling me that thistle about the only thing that they're after that's on the list, whatever
We
the
need to
list.
be more aggressive on more than just thistle.
Sure, and that's an opinion I know is shared by many. They operate under programs, IRBM. What does it stand for? I can't think of, however, but there's a state list of weeds that they're supposed to control, and then outside of that, I think it'd be kind of like up to the county to say, hey, we want.
Iowa roadside management or something.
Yeah, there you go, something. So
think
I think
this-
there's some rules that he's got to follow, but you'd have to talk to him about it, and it's not something
I
that
just
really
know that
overlaps.
you said that your guys could alert him or work with them on it so that they're more aware. I just think it's time to get tough on that in this county.
This wild parsnip though, that's a nasty stuff, and I don't know why it can't be considered a noxious weed that should
Absolutely.
be taken. But
We
it's
can
probably more at the state level.
certainly participate, but getting tough on it would have to come from him. And that's probably a conversation that you'd want to have with him and his board,
Mhm.
I'd say.
And that's another reason why there should be somebody going to the conservation board meetings from the supervisors board. Just to act as a
It'd be nice if it
liaison.
wasn't down on the Hancock County line. Maybe someday we'll have an office up there.
Yeah,
I'd be more than happy to participate in those
I think it'd be good.
meetings. I think they might be just a little preoccupied with some other things right now, and it would be nice if they looked at some other concerns as well.
I'm sure they'd have a lot to say about it.
Yes, I'm sure. I'll talk to Robert.
Yeah.
We had a long conversation the other day, but it was only about the new building. Okay,
Bill, did you have anything for roads?
No, nothing else.
All right. All right, thanks.
did a nice job out at Rice Lake.
Yeah, still got some more stuff to do, but.
It went faster than I expected.
do you need
Yeah.
a motion for your number
Oh.
11?
Yeah,
Oh, the 11, yeah.
I think so.
Number
Yeah.
10.
I'll make the motion to approve the items to be sold at public auction on May 13th.
I'll second it.
Okay, I got a motion from Smith and a second from Jensvold to approve the items to be sold on the public auction on May 13th. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right.
All those opposed, motion carries. Now, are they all your items, or did Robert have anything on there?
You got just a few things, odds and ends. Same
All right.
law enforcement, same thing.
All right,
Vast majority of it will be our department. So,
okay.
yeah. Carla, can you make sure that list gets published in the minutes?
Yes. Did you send it in that email?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there was just an itemized list, and then there's also a sale bill.
Doesn't cover everything, but I think it's
Close enough.
sufficient for now.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks,
All right,
guys.
thank you. Thank you. Later.
There's a lot of stuff on that list. Lots of
Oh, there's been a lot of stuff before.
Has
We don't
there?
even have maintainers this time. We had a couple
Wow.
maintainers that one year.
So
Or
when
a
was
couple different
the
years.
last one?
Huh?
When was the last auction?
It's been 3 years. I think.
3 years. There was supposed to be one last year. That's why it's probably a little bit
Skipped
more.
because of COVID.
Sure.
It probably worked out better. We probably got a better list now. We built up so much bridge planking, and I didn't think it was as big a pile as it was 3 years ago.
And why do we have so much of that?
Because we take bridges out.
And then just put the culverts in,
Culverts.
the concrete,
Mhm.
and so you end up with all that planking.
It's good, somebody can use it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's gonna work out, the auction with, with corn prices being the way they are and bean prices and, I think the auctions, and then along with the online stuff becoming more popular, I think we're gonna do a lot better than we would have done last year.
That and all the stimulus payments.
There you go, there you go.
So it'll be an interesting auction for sure.
Yep.
It's just gonna be different on a weeknight than on a Saturday.
What time does it start?
I'll have to look.
Wasn't it in the morning? It was like 10:30 in the morning.
Well, it's it's in person and online. Let me look.
A lot of those auctions, the inline bidding or online bidding can start,
When they post it.
yeah, like weeks ahead of time, some of them.
Yeah, ours isn't posted yet.
Yep.
Didn't you say this week, though?
Yeah, I think by early next week it should be online. I would think. Well, we're down to payroll claims.
Oh.
You got that pile done?
Nope.
Bill, you want us just to take care of the payroll claims then when we get through them?
Well, right now I have nothing else to do, so
Okay, all right. Well, we're glad to have
I'm
you.
I'm waiting my turn to load.
All right.
What are you hauling, Bill?
Well, right now I'm hauling, bean herbicide. I've been hauling corn herbicide up until yesterday. Now I'm hauling for beans, so. I just, I load the sprayer and then I sit there and watch him spray for 20 minutes. And then he comes back and I load him again.
Yeah, this is a day auction, starts at 10 a.m. on a Thursday. Maybe I need
It's
a-
supposed to rain a little bit every Monday night, and I don't have to do this.
Yeah, right. Good luck with that.
Yeah. Well, besides that, we could use the rain.
Yeah. Maybe some point this year you're gonna regret you said that.
Yeah, well, that's Mother Nature has a kind of a cruel way of evening herself out, so.
It's supposed to be a drought year, supposedly. We'll see.
Have you guys started on beans yet?
No,
I heard people
Still working corn.
that are already on the beans.
some are even done.
Yeah,
It was
I heard of one big farmer is gonna finish his beans today.
too cold. It was too cold.
He's gonna have everything planted before May even starts.
Where does this one get?
But it's just, yeah, heat. I don't know, why is Bob's always smaller than everybody else's? It's just the way it comes in. And I think he faxes it in,
Oh.
and that's what these are all hand done. This one was faxed in, so it's
Oh.
always smaller.
Okay.
Don't know why, but he's done?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you wanna make the motion then? Uh-oh. Wrong stamper.
Oh, no.
Put received on it.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. You wanna go ahead and make the motion?
To approve the payroll claim?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that.
I'll second it. On a motion from Smith and a second from Derby to approve the payroll claims. All those say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries.
Missing you, Bill, I did it wrong.
And that was a motion to mark them approved
Yes, approved.
instead of received.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, it's a big responsibility, don't worry, you'll grow into it.
Mhm.
How did I know that was coming? All right, we stand adjourned.
All right, you guys have a good day.
Have a good day, be safe.
Yeah, you too.